ahead and get started. So welcome to this week's CybHER Conversation. My name is Katie Scheck, and I'm one of the CybHER leaders at Dakota State University. The CybHER Conversations are brought to you by Peraton, and I have with me today some wonderful guests. Along with me, as always, is Kanthi Narukonda, also a CybHER leader. And we have the founders of CybHER, Drs. Ashley Podorotsky and Dr. Pam Rowland. And we're very honored today to have with us Dr. Jose Marie Griffiths, who is the president of Dakota State University. So we'd love for all of you to ask questions at any point during the conversation today, and you can do so by going to the bottom of your screen with the Q&A, and Kanthi will be facilitating the question and answer period after our guest speaker talks. But without further ado, I do want to present this week's CybHER Conversation speaker. Our professional cybersecurity person is Tiziana De Cinque. She corrected me on her pronunciation. She says she is Italian, but living in England. And we're so excited to have her. She is a channel manager, and she will tell you about what that means for Southern Europe. And so, Tiziana, I am going to hand this over to you and let you speak now.
Perfect. Thank you very much for having me. It's such a pleasure. And as I say, as I was explaining before, the purpose of this conversation and what I want to achieve is that by the end of this talk, I want at least one of the girls listening, the other side, to pursue a career in cybersecurity, more specifically a sales career, because I'm not a technical person. When we talk about channel management, I'm in charge of resellers partner that sell my solution. And by that, so my role is partner enablement, management, and recruitment of these partners. So this is my role. So as I say, I'm not technical. I know the basics, but you don't need to be technical to work in cybersecurity. And I repeat that, at the end of the conversation. So my story is as follows. So I'm Italian. I live in London. I've been living in the UK for 23 years. I was born in a village in a region that probably you never heard of called Abruzzo. But if you think of Rome, just go on the right towards the seaside, and that's where Abruzzo is from. I've decided to, basically, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with my life when I went to university. I took my marketing and business degree, and after I've decided, oh, well, I don't speak a word of English, and I have a marketing degree. What do I do? So I convinced my parents to pay for one of these courses for 3 months where you live with a family and you learn English. 2 months down that route, I've decided I need to be able to stay more. I don't want to go back. So what do I do? And that was in Cambridge, not in London, because I thought London was a bit too big. So I've chosen a place that was a little bit more, smaller. And I got to know, Cambridge is famous for the university. I've met people from the Cambridge, scientific society. Half of the men looked like small Bill Gates. I don't know. And they talked about physics of cakes. It was quite a surreal experience. But in there, of course, I had very limited English. So it's a long story, but through like an Iranian refugee and a Polish landlord that loved Italian food, for whom I cooked for, I managed to stay, found a job in a pub, cooked lots of Italian meals to my landlord that gave me a room. It was incredible. I had to build my own shower in there, but as I say, this is another micro stories. But I managed to stay with the great dismay of my mother that wanted me to come back. I decided, I said, no, Mom, a few more months. And after 23 years, she keeps asking me, when are you coming back? Well, I don't know, maybe next year, I will see, or maybe in 10. So my first job was in a pub, and after in a coffee shop where I became from barista, assistant manager, opened one of the biggest, it was like Starbucks, opened one of the biggest shops they had it. And after, I went decided finally I managed to move to London, opened like the pizza pasta division, stereotypes anyone, Italians, for a supermarket chain. And after that, I decided, okay, now I need an office job because this is it with catering and retail. So I found a job as a credit controller for the fashion industry. And yeah, it's not glamorous, it just basically what you do is asking money. And I had to ask money to people from Ireland, from Scotland. The accent, that was a great, way to learn, to start speaking English a little bit better. But, you may as well sell cat food. It's the same, you just ask for money. And then I had my breakthrough, and I found a company that needed an Italian speaker because they sold big computers, they're called mainframes, from IBM, and they were very popular in Italy. So that was my first job. It wasn't in cybersecurity, but it was still, in an IT job. And after that, I started with another company as an inside sales manager. So I helped account managers, so the people that actually were selling, with a variety of tasks, assisting this reseller partner. And this is my interest for channel management. It started there. And I had the first experiences, started traveling to the US. I went to Dallas, to Disneyland, and it was quite exciting. And I've started taking more and more roles, helping those partners. After that, I sort of progressed. So a natural step from inside sales management is going into account channel management. So I had an inside sales manager, and I started selling directly to people with another company. And that was in the email space. And there was an angle with cybersecurity. And I've started hearing about these terms: hacking, encryption, data encryption. I found the subject really, really interesting. And, I changed a few jobs. And now for the past 5 years, I'm in a channel management role in a pure cybersecurity company called Entrust. And I am in the data protection divisions. So I sell something very obscure that's called HSM, Hardware Security Module. For simplicity, it's a flat metal box that safeguards encryption keys. Why is that important? Encryption is the process to convert sensitive information into a secret code, so from plain text to ciphertext, that only certain people can read or interpret. An encryption key is something that, combined with an algorithm, which is a mathematical procedure, transforms this plain text in the encrypted text. And also vice versa. So that's why the key is important. The key is like the key to your data. It's like the key to your house. You can have the most secure house in the world. You can have bars, you can have everything. Someone finds the key, it's in your house, can do whatever they want. And the difference is those keys can be protected in software or in hardware. And what we explain with my company is the software security, soft security, and we prefer them in hardware. So they're used from IoT to digital signature to passport, a variety. So, this is why the key is important. And this is what we do. So the key is the encryption key. So as a part of my job, I look after Southern Europe. So I used to work with Spain, Portugal, now Italy, the Balkans, so places like Serbia, Bosnia, Montenegro, Turkey, Israel, various people, different cultures, and you'll have to adapt how you work. It's very different working with someone, in the past I used to work someone from the Nordics, then someone maybe in Dubai, or someone from the Netherlands, or someone else from Israel. So in this job, I get to travel quite a lot. Well, I used to, of course, COVID put a stop to it. And it's a great part. So I get to travel while making money for my company. Of course, it's hard work. It's not you go out, you party, you have your dinners. It's a part of it, and that's why I love it. So if you combine the work with the lifestyle, because it's what I've decided, it seems a great career to me. So I'm here, girls, please go for it. Being in sales is great. It's hard work. Don't get me wrong. It's really hard work. When you get at the end of the quarters, you have targets, and your bosses stress you out and say, you have to make your target. When are you coming, the deals? What is this channel partner, these resellers bringing? So there's quite a lot of stress, but there's quite a lot of reward. So I love it. You have to love traveling. You have to love people. But I think lots of you do it. But what's the message in here? I came to a country 23 years ago. I couldn't speak a word of English, and you can hear my accent. I've learned when I was 24. And look at what I've done. Probably most of you'll have your career in the US, so you're already much more advantage of me. So don't be scared. Just do it. It's not a mysterious word. You just have to know the basic as a salesperson. After you have a team of people that will help you take, these complicated concepts to the customers, that you just have to identify what the business case is, and you have to help these partners to bring them to the next level with enabling them, recruiting them, and just be close to them. So don't be scared. Start a career in cybersecurity. You can be technical as well, but as I say, I've chosen the sales side. It's not so much rocket science as you think it is, and it's a great satisfaction and really rewarding. With that, I kept it under 10 minutes. So please ask any other question you may have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being our guest today. I know we've spoken before, but your story still, when I hear it again, I'm like, oh my God, she's had a fascinating life because you've managed, like you said, to come all the way to another country where you didn't speak the language, you learn the language, and you're like this amazing, amazing person now. So, I mean, it's not easy, and
No,
it's never easy. And to see you do that, to see you accomplish so much, it is so inspiring.
thank you.
So we do have a few questions from our audience. So you had said you learned about encryption. So how did you come across, or yeah, how did you come across encryption, and how did you learn? Like, what resources did you have access to learn about encryption and the other stuff?
So, of course, when I joined, at the time it wasn't called Entrust, it was called Thales Security. That, it's what we sell is very niche. It's something that only probably 4 or 5 companies in the world sell. So it's something that no one expected me to know first. So I've just been trained on the job. And after, of course, I've done my part. Sometimes you say, oh, you don't need to know so much, because you have the technical person. But I didn't accept that. So there's so many resources on YouTube. We have like key management for dummies. So I read all the literature, and I've done it mostly myself and with the training provided from the company, which is, as I say, you don't have to, and probably, I could have done it before. Now, if I was the other side, I say, let me look into it before. So when I apply, I sort of stumbled in this sector. But if you learn like the basics, there's a lot there, and you already are prepared maybe for an interview if you go straight directly to a cybersecurity job.
Awesome. So then, did you have a role model or a mentor that helped you learn about all of this stuff while you're working on the job? Anybody
No,
to even guide you, maybe?
no, I've done it all myself, and I
Oh,
wish I had. I had a mentor actually for this sort of like starting talking a bit in public and coming and talk to people like you, like it was this other girl that did the cyber her, and I want to be involved in more association. She's my role model for that. For the rest, no, I have to say I've been quite autonomous, and I wish I had a me in the past, because of course it wasn't easy and it wasn't always perfect, and sometimes it was frustrating because you really didn't know. You had to figure out it yourself, so it was harder. So in a way, I hope I can make it easier for someone out there.
oh my God, that is amazing. You have to learn everything by yourself, teach yourself, guide yourself. Oh wow, that is, yeah. I'm trying to think of synonyms, but I keep coming up with amazing. So it's just amazing. Then, as a part of your job, do you have to give like presentations to different groups, or do you work more one-on-one with people?
I usually present to small groups, and now recently I've started to do more sales enablement to like bigger, bigger groups, let's say 7, 8, 10 people. And the presentation skills, is something I'll have to work on a little bit more because I always feel nervous. I've been preparing all day for this. And you can, you just have to do it because it's just practice, practice, practice. So I haven't talked, and what I would like to do, I haven't talked at the moment to an event to like a much bigger audience, like 5,000 people or 10,000 people, by even 300 people. But that's my aim, to be more confident and to improve on that. So guys, I'm 47, I'm still learning. So don't worry, start. You just have to jump. I've jumped. It went well. So, but there's always room to learn.
Yeah. I mean, I still get nervous when I give presentations. I remember the first time I had to speak to a class, I think of 10 students or so. I was talking about my own project, something that I did. I was up there, like literally shaking. My feet just, they wouldn't cooperate with me that day. But
I know.
since then, I've taught classes, and that has helped so much. Like now I know I can speak to maybe at least like 50 students, not more than that, but it definitely takes a lot of practice, like you said.
And one of the aims that I like to do is more getting into those speaking association where you practice more. So I recommend for someone, start early, so you'll be less and less nervous and you'll meet an amazing speakers.
Yeah, that's very good advice. Um, so in your career, in your entire career, what has been the most exciting part or the most exciting thing that you've ever done?
Oh, the most exciting thing, good question, because I've done many, and it's probably happened when I traveled and when I've met these people from all over. And after the beginning, maybe you didn't know exactly how to approach because cultures are different. And I say, how do you approach a person in Sweden is really different how you talk with a person in Dubai. But after the most exciting thing for me is when you see that you're really adding value. So these people, after they come to you, and when someone, recently, also in the past, say, I said, please don't go anywhere because I couldn't work without you, without you supporting us, and or you make really the difference. So, as I said, this is what excites me. It's not like, the sometimes people in sales. I mean, let's put it like that. Also in cyber, you earn quite well compared to other sector. But I think money for me is just secondary, is what the success, when you bring the partner to the next level, to the success, the money and the targets and the achievement, that comes after because of the good job that you've done. And so those resellers really look up to you like their resource, and they really trust you because it's all about trust. Definitely, if there is no trust, especially, you've lost everything. So it's something very hard to gain and hard to keep, but I've managed quite well.
Very nice. So I have a question. It's my follow up. Because you work with so many different people, people from different countries, have you ever encountered someone who didn't want or was quite, I want to say rude, but it's not the exact word, someone who just wouldn't, have a normal discussion with you about something just because you're from, you're of a different gender or you're from a different country?
When you work with the Middle East, sometimes, there is a little bit of that. I had people stepping out of a room because they said it's respectful for the woman. But anyway, you take it like that with a pinch of salt. You send, at that point, it's very useful to have your technical consultant. You send him in front, and you just have to understand that is the way, and you hope it will change. But as in certain cultures, the woman, they talk to your technical person and not to you. But sometimes it's because you're sales and they're technical, but sometimes it's a little bit or something in the middle. And as I say, it's the way it is. You hope you'll change it. I see a lot of great women I've met in there that, they also very technical. And I was surprised. I always said the man behind them close, but they were doing the talking. And I say you have to be able to be in the shadows, but shine in your own light. And I've seen those women that are very clever doing that. But hey, it's just by having more of us out there that the prejudices are gonna be, or the ceilings are gonna be broken. And this is one of the reasons we're here.
Exactly. I love that. Even when you're in the shadows, shine your own light.
Yeah.
I love that, honestly. So, how do you stay motivated?
I say, I love my job. I love what I do. And as I say, I go back to what I said before. When I see you're achieving results, when people are relying on you, when you see, you've done the training, and next time this person or this girl say, oh, and now I found you this deal because I used all your questions that you taught me. And now we won this, and I see a webinar coming along, or I see a new partner coming in and signing up. This is, that keeps me motivating. So the good job brings results, and the results keep me motivated. And as I say, it was hard this year because, of course, I used to travel every 2 weeks. So I would say 50% of my time was abroad. So I had to relearn how to connect with the Zoom, with the calls, with like events like Zoom wine tasting that I've never done before, but they were very successful. Everybody was. So you have to change and adapt. But after you see the result, and the result gives you the motivation.
Cool. Um, we have a follow up to working with different countries. So, do you see any, or have you ever observed any difference in the way different countries approach cybersecurity?
Yes, yes, there are some people that are more, Southern Europe sometimes is more, probably there's a lot about the person. There's the product, but more about the person. Where Nordic countries is all about, does it work? Does it do what I want it to do? In Southern Europe or Mediterranean countries, there's a lot of trust involved. If they don't trust you, you may have the best product in the world, they won't buy from you. So that is a difference. I mean, in the Middle East, there was sometimes I've heard of people buying product, they put it in the magazine, in the storage, just because they really like the person, they wanted to make them happy. And then not in my case, but I've heard a story about that with another colleague of mine.
Very interesting. Um, so, what was something that you never thought you could do? Was there ever a thing? And if there was, how did you overcome? If it scared you, how did you overcome that? And how did you get past it?
Oh, that when I started doing my trainings and I had to talk about, the cybersecurity, what was an algorithm, that was quite scary. And it's quite scary now. I've never done this before. It just practice, practice, practice. And after just decide, I think perfection is also, you don't have to be perfect, because if you want everything to be perfect in your life, you'll never do anything. So just go and do it. Try to prepare as much as you can. Learn from your mistakes, because nothing will be perfect. Maybe if I do this talk tomorrow, I think maybe I should have said that, or I shouldn't have said that. I should have pointed this out. But it's just a continuous improvement. So I would say just, prepare for it and go for it, and don't expect everything to be perfect, because otherwise you'll just stop and you'll freeze and you'll never do anything. It's like when I came to the country, I couldn't speak a word of English. And people say, are you sure you want to go there? No, you have no one. I didn't have any friends. I said, well, it's either this or I'm stuck here thinking what would have happened if I did it. So I went for it. No regrets ever.
And we're glad you did.
Exactly.
So, did you then have to learn different languages other than Italian and English to communicate with other people from other areas?
I didn't have to, but when I did Spain and Portugal, I basically, my husband is Spanish, so I have a decent level. It's not as fluent as my English, but it's good enough because you think Italian don't speak English, go to Spain, it's terrible. So yeah, in Spain, you have to speak Spanish. So there was no other way to do it. It's very funny because in Portugal, with my Spanish colleagues, the Portuguese are very different. The Portuguese speak 2 to 3 languages. In fact, I ended up having meetings in Spanish in Portugal because my colleagues that were Spanish couldn't speak any other language. And quite interesting. You think they are next to each other, they're very different. It was quite, yeah. So yeah, I do upper intermediate Spanish, English, and Italian. I don't think, I'll try just to improve my Spanish, but I don't think I'll ever go to another language. I don't think it's enough.
Interesting. I mean, I can't speak Italian. I can't speak Spanish. So
There's always time. You're very young.
I've been meaning to learn French for like 3 years now. Never got to do it. I try. I will learn like the basic words for a week, and then it's just.
You just have to go there anymore. The French are terrible as well. If you don't speak French, there's also another difference. The Italians feel guilty that they don't speak English. So if they know 3 words, they'll have to try speaking it. The French is a bit of a stereotype, but they're really upset if you don't speak French. So either you speak French or you die, sort of, and it's exaggerated. While, yeah, as I said, the Italians have a different attitude. They feel like I should really speak English. So it's a bit shameful that I don't. So they'll try a lot harder to make you comfortable and with their 3 words together. So it's easier. It's easier.
Very interesting. So, do you know? I mean, you've had different careers, different paths. So, what do you think you will do next?
I want to definitely stay in cybersecurity. The only other sector I'd consider with a cybersecurity angle is robotic process automation, but I'll have to find someone that gives me the opportunity. Lots of people sometimes, I had the opportunity in this company to do something completely different. They didn't ask me, did you have cybersecurity? The person that hired me, I said, yeah, I think she can do the job. And anyway, what we do is very niche to learn it. So hopefully that. I like to stay in cybersecurity though, because it's quite exciting. And, I try to help all my friends say, don't do the Facebook quizzes because, they steal all your data or do 2-factor authentication. So they come to me sometimes and say, what is it that I shouldn't do? I've been hacked. I say, well, you should do all X, Y, and Z. So it's quite interesting. It's quite useful for yourself, but also to spread the word why cybersecurity is so important. So I like to stay, I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure, management job. Could be. I'm quite happy with what I do. We will see. Time will tell.
Yeah, we are so excited for you. Um, our last question to you is, what advice would you give to the young people that are watching this?
But as I say, it goes back to the fact, don't be scared. Don't think it's rocket science. If I did it, come on, guys. As I say, I know there are people here that came VPs, university, PhD. I have a small degree from managed to scrape a first from a small university, good one, but nothing, not a Cambridge or an Oxford. Came from becoming from a barista to a credit controller. I got this. You can do it. You can do it. Just put your hard work, get into it. And there's a lot more information that I had 23 years ago. There's everywhere information. It's just if you want it, you can do it. And don't be scared. Sales is a great career. Lots of, I say, hard work, lots of satisfaction. And it's money-wise is good. So, and if you like travel, that's fantastic. Just evaluate what you like, what you think is good. Maybe, someone could be more from a technical role, because they're more like introverted and they just wanna, I'll design the next algorithm that's gonna be the next best thing. But if you like people, you like sales, you accept challenges, and it's not all easy. Sometimes you fail your target, or you lose to the competition, and how you step back from it as to what you learn and you move. That's also important. Everybody can do it. There's no limits. I'm sure all the girls, they can. There's no one there, the other side of the screen, that cannot do what I did.
That is wonderful advice, and I heavily agree with that, because I know that we can start from anywhere and get into cybersecurity with just a little bit of dedication and a lot of curiosity. So thank you so much, Tiziana. I am going to launch a quick poll for all of our attendees to fill out that just helps us know a little bit about you and your participation in today's conversation. Whether you're watching this live or on our recorded YouTube channel, we are thankful that you have joined us today, and we hope that you'll come back to one of our future conversations. Next week, we are featuring Teresa Shea, who is a Vice President of Cyber Offense and Defense Experts, or CODEX, at Raytheon Intelligence and Space. So that sounds like a very long a title for a wonderful company doing great things. So we're excited to have her next week. But you can also follow us and find out more information about CybHER and all of our upcoming programs by going to cybher.org on our website, or you can follow our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to learn more. And we do hope that for those who are local to us, you will go to the website and find out information about our summer Gen Cyber Camp that we are offering. It is limited this year, unfortunately, due to COVID, but we are excited to have that back on the campus of Dakota State University. Thank you also to Dr. Griffiths for joining us today. And thank you again, Tiziana. We are so grateful for your participation in our conversation. So have a wonderful afternoon, everyone.